Benny Marcus was born on the 12th of March 1929 to Jewish immigrant parents in Newark, New Jersey, United States. At the time of his birth, his parents weren't well off. Benny's father worked as a cabinet maker while his mother tended to the house. Like all immigrants in America at this time, his parents struggled to make ends meet. Benny grew up in a tenement, which was all his parents could afford at the time. His childhood wasn't exactly rosy, as he found himself doing odd jobs after school hours to support his family. Benny found himself drawn to biological science early in life. He excelled in biology and was a reasonably sound child. He also squeezed out some time from his tight schedule to study. This boded well for his academics, as he was always tops in his class. Things took a different turn when Benny completed high school and decided to pursue a career in medicine. He was unable to get a scholarship, as was the case for many immigrants at the time, hence his inability to fund his education. He sourced funds from different organizations, but all efforts proved abortive. Soon, it dawned on Benny that medicine, due to its attendant expenses, was way out of his league. This reality hit him hard. For a long time, he mourned his ambition as he watched it die on the altar of financial limitation. Benny soon overcame his despair and decided to work hard to alleviate the financial situation of his family. Because he couldn't find a steady job, he began to work for his father as a cabinet maker. This remained the situation of things for a couple of years before he saved up and studied at Rutgers University for a pharmacy degree. Freshly out of school, Benny was absorbed into a drugstore as one of its pharmacists. He worked there for a few years before realizing that while pharmacy afforded him a life better than that of his parents, there was only so much he could do as a person earning a living in dispensing drugs. Benny began to study the business side of pharmacy, which entails purchasing the drugs from its manufacturer and distributing and selling to consumers. This was an exercise he took seriously with the view of rising above the poverty that had snared his childhood and deprived him of his initial dream. He soon resigned from the drugstore and found another job as a retailer in a cosmetic company. This broadened his horizon on sales and business and improved his standard of living. He had reached the CEO level in the company when he was sacked, bringing his aspiration to a halt. But Benny wasn't to be deterred by that failure. While the rest of his colleagues who were laid off took to self-pity, Benny started mapping out plans for a home improvement retailer called the Home Depot. When his plan was hatched, the Home Depot materialized in 1979 and revolutionized the home improvement business. The business has encountered enormous success, and Benny's net worth has been estimated at $5.9 billion. Failure could sometimes feel like a huge rock blocking our path to success. As hard as we try, we can't seem to get past this rock, which is why it sometimes feels far-fetched to encourage a person who has failed to try again. But in truth, there's fulfillment in trying again. No success story is complete without the stumbling blocks encountered. This is an important lesson to bear in mind every time we fail. Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Success seems impractical to a lot of people. This is why we must never listen to the negative voices around us when we fail. George Edward Woodbury said, "Defeat is not the worst of failure. Not to have tried is the true failure. We must never be ashamed of defeat if we hope to succeed. Neither should we give in to it." Harriet Beecher Stowe said, "When you get into a tight place and everything goes against you, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn." Benny Marcus's failure, instead of killing his spirit, served as motivation for him to do greater things. This augured well for his subsequent successes.